Jenna was puzzled when her beloved Charlie came home from Doggy Daycare with a note attached to his collar. Expecting a routine message or a playful note, Jenna's curiosity quickly turned to disbelief as she unfolded the paper. The note held a message that left Jenna in tears, utterly astonished by the words written by someone who had clearly been watching over Charlie. Jenna knew she had to find whoever wrote that note, and fast. Jenna knew she had to find this stranger. No one had ever expressed so much love for Charlie and, at the same time, so much sadness. She didn't know how to feel about it. On the one hand, this person seemed to really like Charlie a lot, but on the other hand, they seemed to like him a bit too much. The daycare had never mentioned anyone taking such an interest in Charlie, which was also strange. And when Jenna went over there to ask them about it, their answers were too vague to be of any help. What if this person had other reasons to be so obsessed with Charlie and no one was picking up on it? He could be in danger. The next day, Jenna went to pick up Charlie an hour early in the hopes of bumping into the stranger. All she wanted was just a short conversation with them to see if they had good intentions or not. But when she arrived at the daycare, she was met with her worst nightmare. But who wrote the note on Charlie's collar? What did it say? And what happened at the daycare? Jenna never liked leaving her dog home alone when she went to work all day, so she had decided that she would bring him to Doggy Daycare. Everyone at the daycare loved Charlie, and dropping him off was never an issue. But what she didn't know was that there was someone else who was just as excited to see Charlie on those days as well. Whenever Jenna went to pick Charlie up, the daycare staff would tell her about his day and whether something bad or good had happened or not. There was never an issue with Charlie, as he was the sweetest dog in the world. So you can imagine the strange look on Jenna's face when she saw Charlie with a note tied to his collar. It happened on the day that Jenna couldn't pick up Charlie, so she sent her husband to do it. Her husband, who wasn't used to picking up Charlie and talking to the staff, hadn't even noticed that there was something on his collar until his wife pointed it out at home. Jenna chuckled as she removed the note, thinking it would be something funny. However, it wasn't funny at all. As soon as Jenna read the note, her smile disappeared. "What is it?" Jenna's husband asked, but she didn't know how to respond. The note was both lovely and terrifying at the same time. "Let me see," her husband said as he took the note from her. "My sweet Charlie, you're the highlight of my day." The note read, "What's so bad about this?" "My Charlie!" Jenna exclaimed. Charlie was their dog and no one else's. Her husband shook his head and resumed watching TV. Jenna began to doubt herself. Was she overreacting? She just couldn't shake the feeling that there was something off about the note. A lump formed in her throat and she didn't even know why. She just had to talk to this person. Jenna swallowed her tears right back up as she crumpled the note in her hands. The rest of the evening, she couldn't stop thinking about it. This stranger, who had formed a bond with her dog without her permission, dared to call her dog their dog. She just couldn't believe it. And why would someone write it on a note for them to see? The next morning, Jenna dropped Charlie off with a strange feeling in her stomach. She walked up to one of the staff members, Florence, and asked her about the note. Florence looked a little confused about what Jenna was asking of her. "Only working personnel are allowed to engage with the dogs during the day," she assured Jenna, but it only made things worse. The next day, Jenna parked her car across the street from the daycare, her eyes glued to the entrance. She watched every person who walked in and out, paying close attention to the staff as they played with the dogs. Jenna hoped to spot anything unusual, but everything seemed normal, leaving her puzzled and without any new information on who could have written the note. Unable to shake off her concerns at work, Jenna found herself staring blankly at her computer screen, her thoughts drifting back to Charlie and the mysterious note. She finally decided to call in sick and headed home early. This decision was driven by her growing worry for Charlie's safety and her need to act on it, rather than spend the day distracted and unproductive. At home, Jenna avoided discussing her worries with her husband. She didn't want to involve him without having solid evidence or understanding of the situation. Jenna silently wished she could share her burden, but felt it was better to keep her fears to herself until she had more information. This silence added to her feeling of isolation as she navigated her concern for Charlie. Jenna spent the afternoon carefully analysing the note again. She unfolded it gently, examining each word and the handwriting, hoping to find something she missed before. Jenna moved from the living room to the kitchen, laying the note on different surfaces, wondering if a change in light might reveal something new. Her determination to uncover any hidden messages was evident in her methodical approach. As the evening approached, Jenna's resolve only strengthened. She compiled a list of all the daycare staff, planning to research them online. Jenna intended to visit the daycare the next day, armed with questions and a keen eye for any reactions to the note's content. Her focus was clear: to protect Charlie and uncover the truth behind the mysterious message, no matter what it took. Jenna arrived at the daycare earlier than usual, her pace quick as she walked through the gate. She looked around the play area, her eyes scanning for Charlie among the dogs. With each step, her anticipation grew, mixed with a sense of dread about what she might find or learn. She approached the staff, ready to ask about the note, her heart racing with each moment. As Jenna searched the play area, she couldn't find Charlie anywhere. She moved from one group of dogs to another, her panic rising. Approaching a staff member, she asked, "Where's Charlie?" Her voice was edged with fear. The absence of her beloved dog in his usual haunts sent her into a whirl of anxiety, her mind racing with concern for his well-being. Florence, looking bewildered, informed Jenna that an elderly woman, claiming to be Jenna's mother, had picked up Charlie earlier. Jenna's jaw dropped in shock. "But that's impossible," she stammered, her mind struggling to grasp the reality of the situation. The thought of Charlie being taken by a stranger filled her with a deep sense of alarm and disbelief. Jenna's frustration boiled over as she confronted Florence about the daycare's security measures. "How could you not verify her identity?" she demanded. Her urgency to find Charlie clashed with her frustration at the daycare's oversight. Jenna paced back and forth, her mind working overtime to figure out her next steps, determined to rectify the daycare's grievous error. As Jenna left the daycare, her thoughts spiraled into terrifying scenarios of what might happen to Charlie. She rushed to her car, her resolve hardening. "I have to find him," she muttered to herself, her protective instincts for Charlie overshadowing her fear. She started the car, her mind set on canvassing the neighbourhood, any trace of Charlie's presence her only beacon of hope. Jenna stood frozen, listening as Florence explained how the elderly woman had confidently claimed to know Charlie. The staff's acceptance of her story without verification sparked a blend of disbelief and anger in Jenna. She watched the daycare's daily hustle, now marred by the realization of their grave oversight, feeling a chasm of mistrust opening beneath her feet. The air felt heavier as Jenna processed Florence's words, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. The sense of betrayal from the daycare's negligence was palpable. She confronted Florence, her voice laced with anger, demanding how such a lapse could have occurred. Jenna's frustration was a storm brewing, ready to unleash on anyone who had compromised Charlie's safety. Jenna's insistence on answers grew more fervent. She demanded Florence show her the records of who had been in and out of the daycare that day. Her determination was clear in her swift movements and sharp questions as she sought to piece together how the woman could have taken Charlie without a trace, her mind racing to find a solution. As Jenna stood in the middle of the daycare, the weight of the situation sank in. She envisioned Charlie's confused face, possibly looking for her, and felt a pang in her heart. The thought of him being out there, possibly scared and alone, tightened a knot in her stomach, reflecting the deep bond and love she had for him. With every passing moment, Jenna's resolve hardened. She left the daycare with a purposeful stride, her mind set on finding Charlie. She began making calls to friends and neighbours, asking if they had seen an elderly woman with a dog matching Charlie's description. Jenna was a whirlwind of action, her determination to bring Charlie home undimmed by the obstacles ahead. Jenna and Florence huddled around the daycare's security monitor, rewinding to the moment the unknown woman led Charlie away. Jenna leaned in closer, squinting at the screen, trying to memorize the woman's features. This footage was the first solid lead they had, and Jenna's heart raced as they planned to share this clue with the local community and online, hoping someone would recognize her. As the image of the woman with Charlie played on the screen, Jenna's confusion deepened. She had never seen this woman before, making the situation even more alarming. Jenna's urgency spiked. She knew they had to act fast to track down the woman and bring Charlie home. The unfamiliar face on the screen turned into a symbol of the immediate threat to Charlie's safety. Jenna quickly called her husband, her words tumbling out as she explained the situation. His shocked response over the phone was a clear sign of how serious the situation had become. Together, they started to mobilize, reaching out to friends, family, and anyone who could help spread the word and keep an eye out for the woman and Charlie. While organizing a search, Jenna couldn't help but remember her husband's initial dismissiveness. However, seeing him now, fully engaged and coordinating efforts, showed how the gravity of the situation had brought them together. Their combined frustration with the daycare's mistake was put aside as they focused on the urgent task at hand, finding Charlie. The clock was ticking, and Jenna knew it. She and her husband split up to cover more ground, each taking different areas of the neighborhood to search and ask around. They posted flyers with Charlie's picture and the woman's description from the security footage, hoping for a lead. Every second mattered, and Jenna was determined to bring Charlie back safely, no matter what. Jenna rushed to the bakery across from the daycare, explaining her situation to the owner. Together, they reviewed the security footage, Jenna's eyes scanning for any sign of Charlie and the mysterious woman. Her quick thinking led them to a crucial moment on tape. The woman walking away with Charlie, a clear direction in their departure captured on the screen. The footage provided Jenna with the first real clue, the direction the woman took with Charlie. This new lead invigorated Jenna, offering a tangible path to follow. With renewed hope, she thanked the bakery owner and plotted her next move, planning to canvass the area in the footage, believing it would bring her one step closer to finding Charlie. Jenna immediately called her husband, sharing the breakthrough from the bakery's footage. They agreed to meet at the park the woman was headed towards in the video. This quick decision to join forces and search together showed their united front in the mission to find Charlie, each moment of coordination critical to their success. Leaving the bakery, Jenna felt a surge of fear at the thought of losing Charlie forever. This fear propelled her forward, driving her to act swiftly. She hurried to her car, her mind focused on reaching the park as quickly as possible, determined to follow every possible lead that might bring her closer to Charlie. With every action, Jenna demonstrated her determination to bring Charlie home. She canvassed the area around the park, asking passers-by if they had seen the woman or Charlie, showing photos from her phone. Her resolve was clear. She would not stop until she had found her beloved pet and brought him safely back home. Upon arriving at the park, Jenna encountered a group of dog walkers. After hearing about Charlie, they immediately offered to help in the search. Together, they dispersed, called Charlie, and asked others in the park if they had seen anything suspicious. This moment of solidarity showed the strength of community ties, with everyone united in the effort to find Charlie. With the dog walkers' help, Jenna was able to cover much more ground. They split into teams, each taking different sections of the park and the surrounding areas. This expanded search allowed them to check every possible hiding spot and ask more people, significantly increasing the chances of finding Charlie and demonstrating the power of collective action in a time of need. As the day wore on without any sign of Charlie, Jenna's hope began to wane. The search party's initial energy turned into growing concern and desperation. Jenna checked her watch repeatedly, feeling each minute pass by as a heavy weight, the absence of any leads on Charlie's whereabouts making her heart sink further. The dog walkers shared Jenna's distress over Charlie's disappearance, each one recounting stories of their own pets going missing and empathizing with her situation. Their shared experiences forged a quick bond, with everyone motivated by a common goal: to bring Charlie back home safely and support Jenna through this ordeal. As the search entered its final hours with still no sign of Charlie, the tension among the search party escalated. The setting sun cast long shadows, symbolizing the fading hope and the urgency of their mission. Jenna felt the weight of time pressing down on her, each passing moment a reminder of the critical nature of their search and the possibility of facing the night without Charlie. Exhausted and disheartened, Jenna found herself by the pond where she and Charlie had shared countless joyful moments. Sitting down, she couldn't hold back the tears, overwhelmed by the fear that she might never see her beloved dog again. This place, once a source of happiness, now mirrored her despair, as she struggled to find any remaining hope of finding Charlie. Seeing Jenna in such a state, her husband rushed to her side, wrapping his arms around her in an attempt to provide some solace. He whispered words of encouragement, trying to break through the wall of despair that had enveloped her. Despite his efforts, Jenna remained lost in her thoughts. The comfort he offered a temporary balm to the deep-seated fear and sadness she felt. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the park, Jenna's hope dwindled with the fading light. She stood up, looking out over the pond, her heart heavy with defeat. The search had taken its toll, both emotionally and physically, leaving her feeling drained and on the verge of giving up. Just when all seemed lost, a young boy approached, hesitantly telling Jenna he might have seen a dog that looked like Charlie with an elderly woman nearby. This unexpected news sparked a flicker of hope in Jenna's heart, the possibility that Charlie could still be found, reigniting her resolve to continue the search. Motivated by the child's tip, Jenna wiped away her tears and stood up, a renewed sense of purpose taking hold. She quickly relayed the information to her husband, and together they decided to follow this new lead. Their determination to find Charlie was stronger than ever, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest to bring him home safely. Jenna's heart leapt as she spotted Charlie in the garden, his tail wagging, playing with the elderly woman. This moment marked a dramatic turn in her exhaustive search, filling her with an overwhelming sense of relief. She couldn't believe her eyes. After hours of worry and uncertainty, there was Charlie, safe and sound, bringing a wave of relief that washed over her. Without hesitation, Jenna rushed towards Charlie, her steps quickening as she neared. The moment she embraced him, all the pent-up anxiety and fear dissolved into tears of joy. This emotional reunion between Jenna and Charlie highlighted the unbreakable bond they shared, a testament to the enduring love of a pet owner for her beloved dog. The sight of Charlie playing happily with the elderly woman painted a stark contrast to the fear and tension that had consumed Jenna's day. This unexpected scene underscored the complex emotions at play, intertwining joy and relief with the remnants of fear, showcasing the emotional rollercoaster that Jenna had endured throughout the search. As Jenna held Charlie close, the immediate sense of relief was palpable. The fear of losing him had loomed large over her, but seeing him unharmed and playful alleviated her worries. This moment underscored Jenna's deep emotional investment in Charlie's well-being, reflecting the profound relief she felt now that he was back in her arms. The reunion in the garden symbolized not just the return of Charlie, but also the unity and love within Jenna's family and the community that had rallied to support her. The collective joy and relief shared by everyone involved, including the strangers who had joined the search, showcased the strong bonds of community and the universal love for pets that had brought them all together. Jenna approached the elderly woman with Charlie, her steps hesitant but determined. The initial exchange was fraught with tension, Jenna's voice firm as she demanded an explanation. The woman's posture stiffened, readying herself for confrontation. Yet there was a hint of sorrow in her eyes that belied her defensive stance, setting the stage for a crucial dialogue between them. The elderly woman began to share her story, her voice trembling with emotion. She spoke of her deep loneliness since the loss of her own dog, and how taking Charlie for walks had brought her a sense of companionship and joy she had been missing. Jenna listened, her initial anger softening as she began to understand the woman's actions were driven by sorrow, not malice. As the woman's story unfolded, Jenna felt her anger ebb away, replaced by a growing sense of empathy. She realized that their love for Charlie had inadvertently brought them together, sparking a shift in her perspective. Jenna's expression softened, her body language shifting from confrontational to open, signaling her willingness to understand and empathize with the woman's plight. The conversation revealed a common ground of loss and loneliness that Jenna and the elderly woman both shared. Jenna acknowledged the universal need for connection and companionship that Charlie represented for both of them. This realization fostered a newfound bond between them, highlighting how shared experiences can bridge gaps and foster understanding. The resolution of their initial conflict came through empathy and open communication. Jenna offered to let the woman spend time with Charlie under certain conditions, ensuring his safety while acknowledging the woman's need for companionship. This agreement marked a compassionate conclusion to their dispute, underscoring the story's moral about the transformative power of empathy and understanding in resolving conflicts. After hearing the elderly woman's story, Jenna proposed a solution. She suggested that the woman could spend time with Charlie, but only under Jenna's or the daycare's supervision. This compromise balanced Charlie's safety with the woman's need for companionship, showing Jenna's understanding and willingness to address the situation with kindness and practicality. It was evident that Charlie had grown fond of the elderly woman, just as she had of him. Their mutual affection was clear to Jenna, showcasing the unique and positive impact pets can have on human well-being. This bond between Charlie and the woman underscored the importance of companionship and the joy pets can bring into people's lives. The agreement between Jenna and the elderly woman became a healing moment for both. Jenna saw how sharing Charlie could help mend the woman's loneliness while also ensuring Charlie's happiness. This act of empathy highlighted the healing power of sharing and understanding, bringing peace to both parties involved. This new arrangement not only helped Jenna and the elderly woman, but also strengthened the bonds within the community. By showing compassion and flexibility, Jenna set an example of how individual acts of kindness can foster stronger community connections, demonstrating the importance of coming together to support each other in times of need. The resolution of the conflict between Jenna and the elderly woman through empathy and understanding highlighted the story's core message. Compassion is key. Jenna's willingness to listen and empathize transformed a potentially negative situation into a positive outcome, showcasing the power of empathy in resolving conflicts and building connections. Jenna and Margaret arranged for regular visits to the park with Charlie, setting a schedule that worked for all. This routine allowed them to spend quality time together, with each visit reinforcing the bonds of friendship and trust they were building. It was a structured opportunity for connection that benefited everyone, especially Charlie, who eagerly looked forward to these outings. Over time, Jenna and Margaret's relationship blossomed into a genuine friendship. Their initial encounter, filled with tension and misunderstanding, evolved into a supportive and understanding connection. Through their regular meetings and shared love for Charlie, they discovered common interests and stories, turning a once distressing situation into a source of joy and companionship. Charlie's happiness was evident during these park visits. He would run between Jenna and Margaret, playing and seeking affection from both, his tail wagging non-stop. This joyous behavior from Charlie highlighted the unique role pets play in bridging human connections, bringing together people from different walks of life through shared love and care for animals. The arrangement fostered a strong sense of belonging and community support. Jenna, Margaret, and even Charlie became fixtures in the park, known and greeted by other regulars. This sense of community underscored how the incident had not only brought Jenna and Margaret together, but had also woven them more deeply into the fabric of the neighbourhood. The story of Jenna, Margaret and Charlie concludes on a positive note, showing how a distressing situation led to the creation of new friendships and deeper community ties. It serves as a reminder of the transformative power of empathy, understanding, and the willingness to find common ground, even in the most unexpected circumstances.